Hello, welcome back to the Aria Randomizer Tournament 2022. This is Winners Finals. We're going to have a best of three, all three matches today in a row. Our racers today, we have JupiterClimb, seed number 1, LuichoX, seed number 2. So we're going to have some very hype races coming up in just a minute. For flag set, while we wait for the race to get started, we're running with a Panther First rule set, which means one of the first 6 progression items are going to be the Black Panther Soul. This is a blue soul, which allows the runners to dash very quickly. Additionally, we have Shop Sanity, which means the Hammer Shop is unlocked at the start. The contents is randomized, and the prices are random. So we could see some very good gear there, some easy to access healing. It's a very good safety option. We have Area Shuffle, which means the area connections are shuffled on their axis. So say your left exit off corridors, which normally goes to Reservoir, that could instead connect to top floor. And finally, we have Boss Shuffle, which means that about 6 of the bosses will be randomized. Of these, the 2 shop bosses, Death and Headhunter, will each unlock a third of the shop when killed. So right off the bat, we're going to see the shop. It is Balmung, Poison Fist. Pretty good weapons there. The Blair Soul is not good, but the Medusa Head Blue Soul there could be quite good, as well as the Dryad, for if the runners need some healing. So it looked like Luicho picks up Poison Fist. I didn't see what Jupiter grabbed, but we'll probably see him equip it once they enter this first room here. Jupiter just by Blair? I believe he did. So we see that soul at the top of the room here. And it looks like their starting red is the Altair soul. That's not a bad soul. It has a bit of range. You can hit some souls through walls, which is very useful. But it's not the best. And right off the bat, we do have Black Panther. We're going to see Luicho head straight left into top floor. Jupiter took the save at the start and is instead heading to the right. Okay, so I think both runners grabbed both Balmung and Poison Fist here. So, interesting. From Luicho's side, heading left through top floor took him to the top of corridors here, where we see the yellow book. So unless Malphus is on the left for Jupiter, it's not. So Luicho actually just saved quite a bit of time by skipping those bottom checks and the Creaking Skull fight. Also, that Iron Golem soul right off the bat, that means that the runners do not take knockback. We saw the Ancient Book 3, I did not see what it was, and Malphus. So that is the double jump soul. Luicho did not see that flying armor, but flying armor is basically redundant with the Black Panther soul, though I suspect he might go back and check it on his way through this area. Yeah. But like I was saying, the Iron Golem soul, that allows Luicho to not take any knockback while running through things. It does reduce his iframes quite a bit, so it's pretty dangerous to use. But it is a very good way to go fast in this. Now, I'm suspecting, since Luicho headed down here, he's going to be doing a trick called Undine Skip to get into this Floating Gardens door a bit earlier. Iron Golem from Basilisk is the yellow book, which means both runners do in fact have the yellow soul. And Luicho taking that Floating Garden door takes him to Underground Cemetery. Jupiter did not head left, so he does not know that this returns back to the start of corridors. Cemetery, there's 4 checks and 1 boss. We haven't seen any of the shuffled bosses yet, but with Balmung and Poison Fist, most of them should be pretty quick to do. As for Jupiter, he returned to the start and is going to be doing these set of 3 checks up here. Nothing good in this first room. And the big golem boss for Luicho, which is very easy to take down, especially with, say, Balmung here. We do have a Grey Soul, but it's backdash. It's for JupiterClimb. So that's useful, especially with the Balmung that both runners have. but it's not mandatory. Say if that had been like Hippogriff, then that would have been a very convenient flight check to get. Now it looks like we're also going to see Jupiter doing the same Undine skip, so both runners are going to be in the same area. Now for a bit about our runners, actually. Jupiter, out of, I believe, 71 races on racetime.gg, has a win rate of about 91%. He has lost to maybe 4 players ever, and of those, LuichoX has beaten him 4 times. So, while I would not say the LuichoX is favored here, he is definitely probably the runner with the best chance to take a match from Jupiter in this entire tournament. The in-sync save right here. And LuichoX heads left, take down Creaking Skull. I think we're probably going to see him head up to the stance hall check now. Or maybe he just wants the item. No, he's going to be heading up. So this is a left exit. We haven't seen too many of these. This could dead end on top floor or forbidden. But hopefully it'll turn into arena, dance hall, one of those exits for LuichoX. Yeah, looking like we're lucky, so LuichoX gets the better exit of dance hall, actually. He doesn't have slide, so he wouldn't have been able to get through the other one, but here he's able to clear out this area with the gear he has. Now, speaking as someone who watches Jupiter practice for these races, I can tell you his thinking here is probably, what would LuichoX do and how do I beat that? And for LuichoX, his thinking is, I just want to win. And we're seeing that blue book for LuichoX as well, so that's 2 of the 3 books right now. And he's going to be grabbing that coffee. Probably the grapes too, for a bit of healing. Oh, I just saw blue book. Cognazo from Lilith. They do not have that, I do not believe. And it looks like we're going to see Jupiter heading up into Dance Hall as well. And red book in Dance Hall, but it's slide locked. Neither runner has slide nor bat. So, right now, they have yellow book, they have blue book. They need to find either slide or bat to access that last book. That said, there's a 50% chance of a duplicate book. If the runners don't feel like looking for that, they could instead choose to search other areas and gamble on there being that duplicate. This could be an insanely fast go mode. The fastest seed that we've ever seen, I believe, was about a 24-minute clear for Jupiter, 29 minutes for LuichoX. And that was an absolutely absurd seed. Right now, this, while the weaponry is not quite as good, is stacking up to be just as insane. Especially with these easy bosses here. Great armor, though the runners may wish to instead see, say, Balor or one of the shop bosses. The sheer fact, that's backdash. That's a duplicate backdash for LuichoX. I am very hyped. A duplicate backdash for LuichoX means that he can now use his Balmung to full its potential, since he missed the other copy of backdash somewhere, I think. I don't actually remember where it was for Jupiter. Oh, it was back at the start. So LuichoX is now going to be warping back to the start of corridors. He will find that copy of backdash. Now it's the question of where the runners are going to head next. They've all seen the same area checks. So likely I think possibly the only way forwards now is on the other side of corridors, the far exit. There's 3 checks there, as well as an area exit. Given the progression they currently have, I think that's the way forwards for both runners. So we're seeing a very linear seed right here. While you're right that there's no Skulo or Flight, a lot of the time the books are what's keeping the runners. Since there's a chance of only 1 copy of the books. whereas both Flight and Skula have 2 different ways of getting it, and are placed with progression. So it can be sometimes a lot easier to find those. So we saw both runners heading through that top floor exit to climb to the top of corridors just a bit faster. And now we're going to see these checks at the end of corridors. That could be Skula. Looks like, I think LuichoX going to grab that soul on the way out. Got a random Manticore drop from Bat. That's really important. In really close races like these, against between the top players, some pieces of randomness, like getting a random drop, or random soul drop, can really change how the game's gonna turn out. And we also saw that Skula soul, so both runners are gonna have that. This allows them a lot more options. There's another exit they can now check, as well as this forbidden area check. There's a save right to the left, so it's possible we could see one of the runners decide to save split this, but LuichoX is just deciding to go straight for these checks here. These checks do require Skula, but the fact that Skula was placed so conveniently nearby, I think LuichoX is gambling on this, meaning that there's some useful progression within Forbidden Area. Jupiter choosing to avoid that, but he runs into Study. That's a dead end without slide. So he's gonna need to head back. There's still only one exit that the runners can take, unless there's progression at the end of Forbidden here. So it looks like Jupiter is also going to be heading down Forbidden. That could be Undine. Okay, it's Tsuchinoko. That does not open up anything else. It provides a 20% discount when buying at the shop. Armor fires nice gram armor. Yeah, I don't think they'll be equipping it. They have gold plate, both of them. Jupiter's using Dryad to farm a bit of health off those enemies. And some good dodges from LuichoX. Those Cognazos, I think they're Cognazos. Skull Millions, one of those. They curse Soma, which means he loses MP when he gets hit by that. When you're using Panther almost constantly, not having MP can be a death sentence to your speed. Case in point, Jupiter right now, running out mid-run. So LuichoX is going to see this Study dead end, grab armor or water, turn around, head out. There is a single exit which the runners can take. It is a Vanilla Reservoir exit next to Floating Gardens Vanilla. So we're going to see both runners heading right back there. We're also seeing some very solid backdash movement from JupiterClimb. Current world record holder in almost every single Aria category. So his movement is among the very best. While we do use Panther for a bit ease of use and speed, having some really good backdash movement can also be important, especially if you get cursed, or just run out of mana like we're seeing here. Yeah, this seed is very linear, which is pretty interesting. It could mean that we're not going to see a whole lot of divergence throughout the entire seed, especially if we see, say, Slide or Bat soon, and we start getting our souls. That would mean both runners are just on the same route, and it's an entire whole execution question. Who has the better execution in these boss fights? We are seeing a bit of a divergence here. We're going to see 2 exits out of Clock Tower. There's one on the right, one on the left. I think we're going to see both runners head to the left because there's more checks that direction as well as a boss. But it's possible one of the runners decides, we get the Jupiter Manticore drop. That's huge. LuichoX already got that random drop from the bats. But now that Jupiter has, the stakes are evened again. No runner is going to have an easier time on any boss than the other. Now, LuichoX doesn't have Slide here, but you can face tank through these spikes and get this check at the bottom. This could be big. That's huge. So Giant Bat there. It is both Flight which allows the runners to access top floor, which they've seen already, but it is also slide, meaning that A, Luicho will be able to get out of this room without taking any damage, and B, the runners will be able to access that red book back in Dance Hall. This means they will have all 3 books, every part of Go Mode that they need, except for the souls. And of those souls, they already have 1. So, right now the runners are hoping that they have the red soul, whatever that is. And then it's a question of, do they just go farm that yellow soul? Can they win the seed with the gear they have? Where is Garden? We don't know where Garden is, but that doesn't really matter. Garden's not the important part, because you can search for Garden later. So it looks like Jupiter is heading farther into Dance Hall, while Luicho heads back to get that red book instead. Red book, disc armor from Ukobak. I don't think the runners have that. So that means there's 2 souls that neither runner has for Go Mode. But Luicho does have more options now with Flight. He can exit the other side of Dance Hall if he so chooses. But he does not. He's heading back. Jupiter, exiting out a clock tower on the top left, does not fight the boss, and finds Chapel instead. This is a pretty easy area, very low level, and a lot of checks. So we could see some good stuff here. And now Jupiter, he went to Chapel, he got that warp, and now he's headed back into Dance Hall to grab the same red book. Luicho is heading to top floor. He's gambling on there being gear and souls here. That Skeleton Knight, not the soul he needs. So now, right now, both runners are just looking for these 2 souls. With their skill levels and the gear they have, it's very likely they can beat the game with just Poison Fist Balmung. But while books are placed with the same logic as progression abilities, the soul canisters that these souls they need are not placed with any sense of logic. They can be placed anywhere in the entire map. It is completely random. That Ascalon is very nice. If you ask Jupiter, he will say Ascalon is the 4th best weapon in the game, and while I don't necessarily agree with him, it is a very close. If Poison Fist and Balmung wasn't enough already, Ascalon will definitely allow them to take down these last 2 bosses. Luicho needs to be careful, though. We saw him take a lot of damage there with Iron Golem. Like I said, it reduces your iframe, so just running through enemies like that can be very dangerous. Does not take the save and is heading up through top floor. Some good room resets from JupiterClimb. And that gun, alas, not the silver gun, it's the handgun. Now breaking through top floor door, that takes Luicho to Chapel. So really both runners are going to be seeing the same areas this entire seed. Jupiter saw some of Chapel after leaving Clock Tower, but took the warp out. Apparently a good choice given how it would have dead-ended on him. But Luicho coming in from the other side, just going to be able to clear this straight out. And there's a kicker skeleton for Luicho. That won't be opening anything new up with Bat already, but still allows for some easier dodging on some of the later fights. And good use of the Yasutsuna multi-hits there to get through that Wrecking Ball door even faster. Wrecking Ball wall. Black belt accessory there's pretty nice. Right now, the runner's best accessory is an ancient belt. And disc armor is the red soul they need. Drops from Ukobak. That means they just need, I believe, blue soul? He's checking now. Yeah, they just need Cognaza dropping from Lilith. I don't know if they have a Lilith right now, but they could farm Lilith. They can search for that area where Lilith is found. Which I believe is Dance Hall? Not Dance Hall. Sorry, Inner Quarters is where you can find Lilith. And there's one in Arena. Which mom is Lilith? Lilith is the less scary enemy. So Luicho, not taking that warp, he doesn't know this door, but now he's back in Dance Hall. Is he going to go back to warp? He considers it, but instead he's going back into Clock Tower. He's skipping that boss fight, and he's probably going to head to the right side exit of Clock Tower here. Jupiter instead taking the warp back to corridors, or back to Dance Hall. Going to be heading out the other side of Dance Hall. When looking for inner quarters, which I think they are going to be doing here, that is 2 right exits and 1 left exit. Or I think 2 right entrances. So this Dance Hall entrance that Jupiter has here has a chance of taking him there. And that blue soul, Manticore, there was a chance there. But Manticore Soul, not going to be that good. That is Gardens, though, and Luicho into Reservoir. Skipping Eastern, heading probably straight left, maybe down into the rest of the area. Jupiter equips Rare Ring. Let's go. I know we have some Rare Ring fans in chat. Rune Ring? I lied. I'm sad. This is sad. Now all Jupiter needs for Go Mode is that blue soul. He has his red. He has his yellow. He knows where Gardens is. He just needs that blue soul. And that's where for Luicho. That's not the required soul. Alas. Jupiter coming into the other side of Reservoir from the bottom. Demon's Mail for his troubles. That is one of the best pieces of armor in the game. Top 2. Insane boost on your strength. And Luicho finds inner quarters. He can farm Lilith now. There is also a blue soul in this room. Oh my god, you don't even need to farm Lilith! Luicho is in Go Mode. Now this could also be really bad for Jupiter. The door that Luicho went to is the very far left door of Reservoir. It is very out of the way. There's like 4 checks near it. If Jupiter decides to go do other things, like here he's going to Waterfall, if he decides to do Waterfall checks using Bat or Waterfall Climb, this tech is really cool by the way on Jupiter's side, then it could take him a long time to find that inner quarters and that Cognaza soul. He's gonna run out of MP. Does he have a mind up? He does have a mind up. And Luicho is on to Graham. Not doing a lot of damage. 19 per hit with that Poison Fist. You probably want to swap to Ascalon or Balmung here. Both of them will do a lot more damage. Yeah, 43, that's definitely doable. Especially with some very solid backdash cancels. And 56 from Manticore? Yeah, this is an easy fight here. Just need to be careful to not get hit by too many of the orbs. Now Jupiter going to be heading into the rest of Reservoir on the left side. It could be if he decides to head left, he could find that inner quarters soul. Or that inner quarters door. But if he decides to instead go right, do eastern, and find that clock tower door, this could be a huge detriment for Jupiter. Jupiter does have a bigger advantage, yes. And he's also heading left. He's gonna find that inner quarters door if he just keeps heading up. Now right now, Luicho equipping those required 3 souls, double checking. You don't have to equip them until the last hit of the second phase, so Luicho was able to do a good bit of damage before with his strength soul equipped before needing to swap off. Now Jupiter into inner quarters, he's gonna find that Cognaza soul right here in this Lilith room. And that's go mode for Jupiter, right as Luicho enters Gram 3. This is a very close race. Any mistake could decide this race. 30 damage. If I'm Luicho, I probably want to be using Ascalon here, since it has a much nicer hitbox than Balmung, and it does the damage that I think you need to do this fight quickly. But that said, Poison Fist, its ease of use here, able to double hit on a full jump, a lot better than Ascalon's here. Jupiter taking the save before Gram, and we're going to see this going in to both players on the same fight at the same time. Very clean Gram 3 from Luicho, though. Some insanely clean dodges here. Yeah, we're seeing that Ascalon damage on Jupiter's side, hitting for 50 a pop. It is a heavy weapon, so it requires backdash canceling, but Jupiter, world record holder for, I believe, Soma Glitchless, which uses Ascalon a lot, so he's very skilled with these attacks. And finishing that last hit with his last of his MP, Luicho dodging the damage he would have taken. And that's Gram down. But Jupiter in Gram 2 right now. Undine behind Gram. Now right now we're seeing a difference in gear. Jupiter has that Demon's Mail, which gives a great strength boost. And he also knows where Gardens is. Luicho needs to find Floating Gardens right now, or else he's going to lose this very short advantage. It's just a question of what exits does he check first. We're seeing that difference in damage. We see, again, Ascalon on Jupiter's side, 44 compared to the 17 that Luicho is hitting with Poison Fist. He heads left. This is not good. Luicho is heading to the flight checks and corridors rather than Dance Hall. He's not gonna find Gardens. His only chance here is if these right exits take him to the bottom side of Reservoir, which will put him next to that Floating Gardens exit. Oh my god, it does! He's gonna get Demon's Mail, and he's gonna head. He doesn't do the check. He doesn't get Demon's Mail. Okay. This is going to take him to Floating Gardens, though, I believe. That one skip check might cost him. But both runners are going to be entering Gardens at the exact same time. Like, the exact same time. Meaning, not the exact same time, but, like, Jupiter's going to get to the fight faster because his side is closer to where it is. Whereas Luicho has to go through the entirety of Gardens. So, yeah. Just saying. Jupiter takes the save, and is going to be entering the Julius fight. Luicho just a screen behind. So right now, Jupiter has Rune Ring, has Demon's Mail. That's his gear difference. Luicho does not have either of that. A single death in either of these fights, Julius or Chaos, could spell disaster. We just need to see how clean these runners can play. It's a 3 damage difference here between Jupiter and Luicho, 59 to 62. That's not huge, but with a health pool as large as Julius's 6,000, it could make a difference. And Jupiter is on to phase 2. 4,000 HP down, and the sub-weapons are coming out. Luicho taking a few hits. I don't think Jupiter has taken any. That's not true. Jupiter took a few, because he healed. Not landing a lot of Manticore hits this phase 2 for Jupiter. Mostly landing 2s. Rather than the full 3 that you want to be landing. 3 whoops to the face for Jupiter prior to phase 2? Okay. Yeah, so they're about the same point here. They've used some healing. And that's Julius down for Jupiter. He's going to be entering Chaotic Realm. Luicho not quite onto phase 2 yet. Luicho entering phase 2 right now. Half a boss between these two runners right now. That Calibulg in the first Chaotic check. Dark Weapon, which Chaos resists. Not worth picking up. Especially not with the Ascalon that both runners have. Actually, speaking of Ascalon, I believe Luicho has spoken before. He is not a fan of Ascalon as a weapon. He's not that proficient with it. So that deficiency in skill with this specific weapon could prove a detriment on this Chaos fight once he finishes Julius in just a second. Yep, there Julius goes. Skill issue, indeed. You're right, algorithm. That Eversing there. That might be better than the gold plate that Luicho is rocking. But it's definitely not better than Demon's Mail, which Jupiter has. And I believe a Rahab sword there. Jupiter takes the save. The safety save. Does not want to take a death here and lose so much time. And entering Chaos. What is the best weapon in Aria of Sorrow? Final Sword. We're gonna see that Yasutsuna for phase 1. These statues have 0 defense, meaning that multi-hitting weapons such as Yasutsuna deal really good damage, even compared to Ascalon's higher base damage. So we're going to see some very good weaving around these reticles. That reticle will drain Jupiter's mana, and given the importance of rush soul damage, especially given these runners very low level here, keeping all of your mana is very important, and Jupiter manages that perfectly. Looks like Luicho chooses to grab that Rahab sword. Not sure about that, but it looks like he's very not confident. And we got a flawless phase 1 for Jupiter. Very good start. A true flawless, even. Now we're going to see that Ascalon come out, throwing the Dryad for a bit of sustained damage, as well as using Medusa Head to land consistent hits without having to jump on the top eye. Now swapping back to the Yasutsuna for now, and Luicho is entering Chaotic himself. That Dryad is very good for healing, helping to keep Jupiter alive without needing to use his stash. Luicho gets hit by the reticle, so he's losing a bit of mana here. He does not have the Rune Ring, so he won't be able to regenerate that as fast as Jupiter could have. This could be a big detriment on his damage dealing potential in Phase 2, taking hits from the orbs as well. And Jupiter has 2 eyes down, using that Dryad to take down those top eyes, while focusing on Yasutsuna for the bottom eye. I think he's only going for a 4-eye because he's so low level, and he has the bonus damage from that Dryad to go for. They didn't kill many bosses at all this seed, so the runners, Jupiter was level 9 here. Normally, you're looking at level 15, level 16. And even with 4 eyes down, Ascalon, with its insane base damage of like 120, is hitting 38. Luicho going to be going with Yasutsuna and Yasutsuna only for these eyes here on the right side. And some really good Dryad usage from Jupiter, hitting the core with it to take some healing. And he's jumping through those spikes. They don't have a hitbox when they first spawn, only when they get launched. Also, Manticore is not worth it. It is not worth using. That was hitting 43 with 4 eyes down. Given the lack of int boosting gear and the low level that the runners are at, their Rush Soul's not going to be doing a lot of damage. So the choice to use Ascalon and only Ascalon here is the correct one, with Dryad intermixed in for some healing just to stay alive. Swapping Yasutsuna to check the damage, it's 5. It could be good if we get those multi-hits, but I think compared to Ascalon, it's not going to be quite as good. Looks like he's going to be sticking with it. Hits the orb with Dryad, knocking it off screen and getting a bit of healing off that. And that's Chaos down for Jupiter. Insanely close race. Let's see how well Luicho does finishing this up. Manticore to bottom eyes makes sense? Yeah. The Manticore is not going to be anywhere near as good against the core, but bottom eyes, as I said, 0 defense on those as well. So Manticore will be dealing a lot more damage. I can tell you, Jupiter, that was an insanely close race. You'll have to watch it back to see just how close. But I can tell you the difference maker was Rune Ring and Demon Smell. It made your Julius going a lot faster. Made your Julius go. They're saying Luicho here using the Dryad Soul as well to get that healing. He's taking a lot of damage, and I don't think he has any healing left in his inventory. But with Dryad, he's able to keep himself alive if he just uses it. Ooh, the dragon comes from below. And it looks like Luicho decides to forfeit there. That is only race 1 of this set of 3. We do have at least one more race coming up after this, and a possible third tiebreaker. So don't go anywhere, we'll get that one starting up in just a minute here. Probably like a quick 5-minute break. Alright, we're back. Race 2. Jupiter took the first one by a very slim margin. A couple checks. And we're going to be seeing the second race starting in half a minute now. This is a best of 3, so if Jupiter takes this match, that's a victory for him. He goes on to the Grand Finals. But if Luicho takes it, we get the very hype third match, 1-1. So personally, I'm rooting for Luicho just to see this best of 3 go as long as it can. Same settings as the first match, so we're gonna get to see how good the shop is right off the bat. It was decent last week with some good weapons, and we'll see what it is this time. Calibulg, Kunituna, and a Rune Ring. That's a really good shop. Though the Calibulg isn't very good against the endgame weapons, or endgame enemies, like Chaos, it is very good against most other bosses in the game, and since the Dark Weapon has very high base damage. So I saw both runners grab that Calibulg, as well as, I believe, the Iron Plate for Luicho, possibly also Jupiter. Lightning Bolt for the first red. That is the second best red soul in the game. And Panther at the top of the area again. This is a very stacked seed from the start. And we're going to see the same divergence. Jupiter going right to freaking Skull, and Luicho heading left. Inner quarters for Luicho, and that... Yo, okay. So, Lubricant Soul that Jupiter just found. As it said, increases strength when you lose HP. This is a boost that is per amount of HP lost, not percentage. So, the more HP you have, the more HP you can lose, the better Lubricant is. But also, it requires you being at very low HP, so Lubricant is a risk. Jupiter is a huge fan of Lubricant. We will almost certainly see Lubricant strats on one of the later bosses this race, especially given how close this first race was. We're not seeing a lot of progression so far, that I've caught at least. So it could be that the runners will need to head on into the study or chapel areas at the end of corridors. It looks like only flying armor so far. And that random poison worm drop that both runners have gotten. A whip sword and the batlock check, not going to be anywhere near comparable to that Calibulg. And now there's 2 checks left, and then it's off to another area. Zombie Officer, not a bad yellow. Helps the runners move around, since if you're in the air when you get hit, you can cancel that knockback animation. But that is it for the souls. So we're going to see either Study, Chapel, or Floating Gardens for this next area, as it needs to be an area that the runners can traverse without double jump. Gonna be Floating Gardens. Oh, Jupiter. This could be bad. I think Jupiter is heading back to the left corridors, thinking that it's Chapel to the left. He's gonna head left to try and get a Chapel, trying to find a Malphus soul in there. But Luicho has already seen that exit. He knows inner quarters. There's nothing to do there. And you can do checks in Floating Gardens without double jump. There will be progression here for Luicho. But Jupiter just bailed on it. Oh, yes, because Jupiter just has the best luck with going out of logic for checks. Quetzalcoatl. 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 You know what? It's a yellow soul that increases your defense. That. And that is probably the double jump for Luicho right there. Jupiter didn't save at the right side. Who's gonna need to run back? That's Malphus. Okay, that's good for Jupiter at least. The other exit of inner quarters takes him back to corridors, meaning that he can still just head right on back to Floating Gardens to get the Malphus that Luicho has. Actually, speaking, Luicho, very smart, heading left here. There's a check at the start of Gardens, but without double jump, Luicho wasn't able to get it. But by heading right here, he's able to get it from the other side. And now he's going to do this reverse Gardens route that Halgorithim discovered, which allows the runners to get to the other side of Gardens just a bit faster. Jupiter doing the check in inner quarters, it is a book, but you still need Malphus. It's Disc Armor for Basilisk, so very similar to last seed. Same soul, same drop, and he does have Disc Armor. I do not know if Luicho already found Disc Armor, but right now Luicho has a huge lead in everything except that book knowledge, and he's not going to just skip the first check in inner quarters. Jupiter has to head all the way back, and Luicho into Arena. And also out of Arena, because he's leaving immediately. Understandable, given that he had 170 health and minimal healing, if any. That's a yellow book. That is flight locked, so you're going to need either Giant Bat or Hippogriff to access that. And that means we've seen, as the viewers, 2 of the 3 books already. This could be another pretty fast seed. Yeah, Luicho bought this armor as well? Okay, so it was in the shop. Very good to know. Both runners do have that then. What are with these early books? I just have good luck generating seeds. Luicho headed left. He's gonna see that red book now. Now he knows he has that red soul as well. And there's Malphus or Jupiter. Finally. Still making good use of that zombie soldier soul. We saw him canceling some knockback right there as he runs through these run pillars. And Luicho is going to be heading up into inner quarters, doing these checks at the top, and maybe also this boss fight. This is a bit of a risk with Caliburg. Legion does resist Dark, and has like 6,000 HP. I think we're going to see Jupiter do Arena. He has long since espoused his love for early Arena, comparing it to my love for Eastern. We could see Jupiter clear Arena right now, with Caliburg and nothing else. I think we are going to. Yep. Now, notably, Jupiter does not have Slide, nor does he have Bat, so we cannot access the check behind Worst Room. It's also possible, however, that he finds either Slide or Bat within Arena, which would allow him to do that check, as well as possibly getting him Flight. Meanwhile, Luicho found the Headhunter boss in inner quarters. Very lucky. This is an easy boss, especially with Calibulg and Lubricant, as well as his shop upgrade. So we could see some really good items in that shop following this fight. Good usage of Lightning Doll, but getting poisoned here is reducing Luicho's damage quite a bit. Granted, still, 75 per hit, so not that bad. And a Golem drop from Headhunter, guaranteed drop. That's very good. That Poison Fist for Jupiter, also a very good weapon. It'll do good against Chaos if that's the only weapon they find. Speak of checks the runners can't do, Luicho just ran past the Galamoth checks. Without the Chronomage Soul or Galamoth Soul, cannot get through that time-locked room. And that is 2 pretty high-weighted checks there. And into Dance Hall for Luicho, he does not have... I do not believe he has any of the things he needs to access his check. No kicker, no flight. Jupiter, you can see what item that was? He went through that door so fast. Heading down, you can't do that check in the middle. That is worse for him. You could do DDR. You can do DDR manually. This is another very slow check. And if you mess it up with even just a single wrong input, back to the start. Polar grabs it with Lightning Doll. It's Undine. Doesn't really matter with double jump. You can just skip that. Is that Skula? Oh my god, that could be big for Jupiter. One of the 2 copies of Skula is behind DDR and Arena. What a place. And he's heading up. I think he might want to take the save and then fight the boss. Or he could just be leaving Arena. Not even checking what that boss is. Interesting. Fun's Clock Tower at the top of the quarter is that Vanilla Dance Hall. That's right Clock Tower. He doesn't have Skula, so he can only head left from here. And Jupiter's going to see the Skella book. Is Jupiter going to head into inner quarters again? Or is he going to head for later checks in the air? Looks like he's going to head later. Oh, Luicho finds a duplicate of Skula in Clock Tower. That's huge. No need to go to Arena. No need to do that DDR check. As he equalizes the runners once again. And Jupiter's going to get Indian. So he's heading to Indian skip. Luicho finds Blore. This is the best boss for XP in the game. Oh, actually, he is taking Skula and heading left. And Calibulg, Blore is going to go pretty quickly, hitting 60 a hit. Luicho takes that hit for his lubricant boost, going from 55 to 60 damage. Blore gives 16,000 experience when you kill him. That's about enough for, I want to say, 15, 16 levels. Jupiter does find Forbidden. Gonna do the same thing as last seed, heading up to the exit first, rather than into the next bottom. And he finds the other side of Clock Tower right next to where Luicho is. This could be bad for Luicho. He's gonna end up dead-ending, but thankfully he does actually have Skula, so he'll be able to leave through the bottom of Clock Tower once he sees that Forbidden exit. Very clean phase 2 of Blore. Jupiter's skipping the boss again. He's not gonna get that XP. Iron Golem drop from Blore. Very important, especially if Luicho can find some defense. We saw how good Iron Golem was last siege, just being able to run through every single enemy. Jupiter takes the save, and the save split these Forbidden checks at the bottom. And Luicho is going to see this dead end now. Could be big for Jupiter. We see a book here. We see flight. Okay, Hippogriff for Jupiter. We didn't even see this last seed. But that is flight. It's a high jump. We're not going to be seeing Jupiter these checks, that's for sure. Now, Lucio, I think, is going to be safe splitting these bottom checks, maybe. And Durandal, not a bad weapon. Especially not since you already have... But you already have Calipog, so in comparison, it's not quite as good. So it is, that's Giant Bat for Lucio, that's huge. That's also flight. This means he doesn't need to head into Forbidden to get that Hippogriff. What are we going to see from this other check here? Dracula's Tunic, also very big. Dracula's Tunic, very good defense. And with Iron Golem, that'll allow Lucio to be very safe while running through enemies. So he's not equipping it quite yet, because the more defense you have in this game, the more damage you take from these spikes if you get hit by them. Now he's equipping it, upping his defense. Jupiter doing the boss of Clock Tower now. He's gonna find that Pelor fight. And Luke is gonna be heading down to Clock Tower Work and the exit down there. Lucio works back at the start. He's gonna grab this yellow book here with Giant Bat. You already know what red book is. Both runners have that. Yellow book, that's Swaddle from Skyfish. Both runners have that too as well, I believe. Maybe? At least Jupiter has it. Okay, Jupiter has cats. And Lucio has cats. Okay. Both runners have yellow, both runners have red. Just looking for blue book right now for both runners. They have flight, they have Skula. Another very fast speed if we can just find blue book. Estrobe in Shock? Yo? Bale in Shock? Devil in Shock? That's an amazing shock. I didn't even see what weapons there were. Nothing. But Bale and Deathstrobe plus a Rush Soul. That is an insane int boost. Deathstrobe, arguably the best armor in the game, given its int boost. Which makes your Rush Souls even better. And Lucho's gonna do Arena now. We've already seen this from Jupiter's side, but we didn't see two of the checks. But Lucho can do both of those now. Also, Jupiter found bad. But it doesn't really matter at this point. It's live for him, I guess. They're not going to help a lot with Lubricant. It depends how dangerous Lucho wants to play. Giving that Melon, functionally a full heal at this level, but Lucho's so confident he's not going to need it. Has Jupiter seen Yellow Book? He knows it's there, but I don't think he's gone back. Oh, that Clock Tower exit is top floor locked. I don't know if we've seen that. But good on Lucho for just skipping that entirely. I think that actually, if the runners care to, later in the seed, that'll be a faster way to get to work than running through all of the top floor. So they could decide to go there to get the gardens instead of heading down along through. And there's Yellow Book for Jupiter. He does speak, he has the, I believe he has the soul. Maybe he didn't scroll down far enough. We're going to see worse from here from Lucho. Pretty big. This is a very high complexity check, so we could, requiring slide to get. So we could see Blue Book here. It's a Gray Soul. Backdash. Ooh, not what you want to see there. Backdash, useful soul for movement and for fighting, but with Calibug as their main weapon, it's not going to be that good. And a gold ring random drop for JupiterClimb. What? Gold ring increases the money that things drop, I think. I've never equipped it. And Luicho using that bat to clip through that wall. That is one of the few allowed tricks in this randomizer. He's going to find that duplicate Skula for his troubles. Doing these arena checks a lot faster than Jupiter was able to, due to the power of Bat. We're also going to see him do this boss check, probably. He doesn't have to worry about losing any progress here. Ooh, with Legion, though, that's a bit of a tough one. He does have Devil, Bale, Lubricant, and Deathstrobe. So he's going to be dealing a lot of damage with Rush Soul. Pretty decided to do that. But on the other hand, his best weapon, Calibug, not that good against this. Actually I lied. 62 is pretty decent. Poison Fist hitting 99, though. Luicho not Rush Souling off the bat. Interesting. He is going around the side, though. Taking a bit of damage for Lubricant, raising his Poison Fist damage from 99 to 121. Now, did Luicho buy that Devil Soul? And Jupiter entering into Dance Hall. Finding a Mana Prism at the top deck. Very clean movement here, very fast item checks, just into the door and out the moment he sees the color of that item. Death for his trouble. That could be the required blue, we do not know what it is yet. And a Mana Prism, or a Mana... I found it. There we go, finally, the Devil for Luicho. Doing it on the platform, a Algorithm Strat classic. Very good damage there. Now, Fours down, right there. He's gonna get the Soul Drop from this. Well, as well as a lot of XP. With both Valor and Legion dead. Luicho is looking at level 20, level 21. Levitain for his troubles. Very good weapon. Luicho going for the Legion Soul or something? I don't know. We'll have to ask him for the interview. A vanilla big golem there for JupiterClimb. Goes behind, can't turn around, so just Lightning Doll and Calibug, and it's dead so fast. Calibug's a bit of a better weapon than Levitain for Gran and Julius, but it's Dark Elemented, like I said. So against Chaos, Levitain with Fire Element is going to be the most effective weapon we've seen in this seed so far. And entering into Chapel from the other side of Dance Hall for Jupiter. Luicho headed back into corridors. Is he going to do the Skula check now? It's looking like the Skula check. I think we saw this from Jupiter earlier. I think this was Forbidden, I want to say? Luicho's already seen the exits. It's a question of will he decide to go for these checks or not. Stands around to ask himself the same question, and it looks like he's going for them. A very fast Manticore fight there. Very good short hop cancels. And Jupiter's going to be done with Chapel in just 3 checks now. That's Hippogriff for Luicho, so good speed for him at least. Red and Blue Book be in a lot of places. But Blue Book is an Eastern. Totally. Jupiter entering a reservoir on the left. He's gonna do this check. Saw Demon's Mail here last seed. We're not gonna see it again. Samurai armor. So close. And yet, so far... Putting on Iron Golem to run through the Tritons. Jupiter did skip the check at the bottom of this area. But we could possibly see a Blue Book behind the waterfall here, or one of those checks up there. Dodging the food, but deciding, it's half a screen away, may as well grab a 300 HP heal. Map behind the waterfall, not what you want to see. That was an Onikiri? Loose hole over through that wall, you can access it with Panther. Witch. And zombie. Not a whole lot here. Luicho finds study. This is a new area. We have not seen this from Jupiter. This could be where Blue Book is. This could be the divergence that the runners need. Last seed was very close, very in sync. But with here the study checks, we could see a book. We are seeing a book, but it is the wrong book. Galma? Skeleton Blaze. That's slide for Jupiter. That's top floor. I believe this is the first time we've seen top floor this seed. Well, I mean, you saw the dead end. And top floor does connect to corridors, so Luicho is going to see that soon. He also decided to bail out of the other checks and study. Looks like he saw that red book and thinks, there's probably not another one in here. So he's going to be heading to the other one, and this is the top floor X that we just saw from Jupiter. So Luicho and Jupiter are both going to be in top floor in just a moment. And that also lets Luicho see where Reservoir is. Jupiter gets caught by the succubus there. A couple very painful kisses. And then heading up to top floor for Luicho. Galma. Backdash. That's the duplicate backdash though. So Jupiter now has that if he finds a backdash weapon. Shadow Knight as well. Very good blue soul, one of the best. It's just basically just free damage when you're attacking. And an Osafune. Decent weapon, but not in the face of Caliburg. Nice black belt there for both runners. And Luicho finally equips his Levitain after having it for like 10 minutes. And Jupiter going to be warping out. Heading back into Reservoir, are we going to see Jupiter do the upper Reservoir checks? Eastern and Western? It's going to be the left side. It's going to be Western. Random Devil Drop? Is that from an Une? Jupiter touched grass and grass gave him Devil. Heading for this middle check first. It's very out of the way on both sides, and it's beef curry. And it looks like he's choosing to do the Western checks first. Everybody hates Eastern, it's understandable. But we saw this pay off for him last seed. Or was it? Maybe it paid off for Luicho, but then he went and did it. Not a lot here, but this area check could be very big. You have that $1 coin for Jupiter. Into the other side of study. Does have slide? We're back. Can get through this. It'll be interesting to see if we see this blue book behind backdash check. That's where the disc armor soul is supposed to be, over in study. Interesting. Some very good blade dancing just right off the bat. And using bat to check that item, I couldn't see what it was. But it looks like he wants it. The blue soul canister. Early, another rush soul. But the first one we've seen the canisters, so this is probably the mandatory placed rush soul. And the death fight here, another shot boss. Equipping an accessory for the first time in the seed at 30 minutes in. We're seeing a bit of that death manip. Can books be sold in the shop? No. They cannot. Very good damage from Devil there. 240 per hit. Insanely fast death fight there. And for his troubles, a skull key. Literally worthless. And nothing good in study for Jupiter. Looks like Luicho made the right choice for skipping that. Find Skyfish and Dance Hall. I kind of zoned out on what Luicho was doing. Did he find Blue Book? Blue Book in Eastern now? Let's go. Yes, hopefully. The random slime drop for Jupiter. We've seen some really interesting slime plays recently in this community. Can do some great damage on the Chaos Eyes. It'll be interesting to see if Jupiter decides to go for these slime strats. And by interesting, I mean he better do it, or he's getting disowned by the community as a whole. Boss fight, I believe we've seen this for the... yeah, we saw this on Jupiter's side earlier. Jupiter takes an exit, takes him to Eastern. Is he gonna do Eastern? Eastern gonna prove like it's worth it. Manticore Soul off the bat. That's the third Rush Soul for Jupiter, and the best of the three. Freaking Skull as well, some really good blue souls. J is a decent weapon, especially given that Jupiter doesn't have that Levitain that Luicho does. We've seen so many blue canisters this right through Rushell's Market now. Sometimes I just forget the unimportant things, you know? Ooh. Bale. Also very good. With Lubricant, I don't think we're going to see Bale getting much use. There were, I think, 3 blue canisters in Eastern. That's half of the... that's a third of the blues in the seed. In this one area. But there's not a whole lot left on this map that we haven't seen. Worm, yep, worm. Worm is great when you're playing Aria, Sorrow, Kaizo. That's the only time it's useful. There's a check behind Waterfall. Is this gonna be Cemetery, perhaps? Through this waterfall using that Rush Soul that I marked like 30 seconds ago. This is Cemetery. This is one of the last areas we haven't seen. This could be Blue Book. LuichoX getting here at the same time. He might decide to go for this. This could be another very close end game. As long as he has the soul. And that Great Armor fight's not going to be a struggle here. LuichoX's also heading for these checks. Blue Book in Cemetery. That's Witch. I don't know if LuichoX has Witch. I believe Jupiter has Witch, because Jupiter's seen every single blue canister in the game, it feels like. But they're both gonna have this blue soul very soon. Or this Blue Book. This is Go mode, I believe, if he's checking his souls. Could you have checked your blue souls, Jupiter? Okay, Jupiter is Witch. Jupiter is in Go mode. And LuichoX's about to find this as well. If LuichoX has Witch, we have a race. Also, dropping from Cognazo, which was at the top of Waterfall. That's very big then. I think he has that. He probably remembers from like 30 seconds ago when he got that soul. Both runners in Go mode. Jupiter did kill Death. Is the Death Shop going to be his saving grace? He does not have a good anti-chaos weapon the same way LuichoX does with Levitain. It's not. He does get that Death's Robe the same as LuichoX has from Headhunter. And a Rune Ring. Could a Rune Ring be the deciding factor? Ooh, hold on. Archdemon. Does he see the Archdemon? He sees the Archdemon. So Archdemon, you get MP, some amount of points for every point of damage you take. It is an amazing yellow soul. Starting shop at Rune Ring? You know, Chewy? It is the middle of the day, and I slept for like 7 hours. I don't need this sass. Jupiter heading into top floor. LuichoX also at top floor. Did not do that shop trip, so both runners are going to be on Graham at the same time. LuichoX doing just a last second check that he has all the souls. I actually slept for 5. Gonna see some damage tanking from LuichoX here to get his Levitain boost, or his lubricant boost up already. We're also seeing a bit of a damage difference here. And already onto phase 2 for Jupiter. That Manticore damage, man. Not having to do this lubricant boosting is really good for Jupiter. But very close fight already. LuichoX risking it all, getting some rush soul hits on phase 2 before swapping to his required souls. Now, while Jupiter, I believe, he's going to have a faster Graham and Julius fights due to Calibulg, while it looks like LuichoX is going to prefer using Levitain. Levitain not resisted by Chaos, so it is the better weapon for Chaos. It could be that that makes a bit of a difference in this race here. Is that I hate this. Galamoth and Rune Ring behind Graham. That's a bit of an equalizer if the runners hadn't already bought Rune Ring. Doesn't LuichoX also have Manticore? I do not believe so. Manticore was, somewhere inconvenient. Manticore was in Eastern, and LuichoX doesn't do Eastern, ever. Both runners are remembering where Garden is. Very clean warps here. Heading to the closest warp and then heading to Arena. This is a really good movement here. Manticore was Vanilla Milliken Sword. Imagine knowing... Yo! We got the spoiled milk, Jupiter doing lubricant strats on Julius. This is huge. 300 damage per hit. As long as he doesn't take a death here, this is going to make this fight go so much faster than LuichoX. This could be the difference maker right here. I mentioned that lubricant right at the start. This is why you love to see lubricant. He takes it. Oh, he doesn't take a hit. Interesting. He takes the safety heal because he paused while crouching. But he did not take the hit while standing up. That's phase 1 down already. My god. Now, interestingly enough, LuichoX, no slouch. He has more levels. He has more health to lose. His lubricant boost can be larger, but since he's not quite as low. Ooh, wow, those slides from Jupiter. This Julius fight has been a lot more improved recently. That's Julius down for Jupiter already, just as LuichoX is entering phase 2. Final sword! Alright! This is really good for Jupiter, and this could spell the end for LuichoX. Final sword, best weapon in the game. It is a backdash cancel heavy weapon in multi-hits. Notably, LuichoX's one advantage here was that he had Levitain, a better weapon against Chaos than Caliburn. And Jupiter's best weapon was going to be Durandal. But that final sword in the first check here means that that advantage is no longer existent. This is, however, a very close race. Both runners in Chaotic at the same time. If so, one of them takes a death to Chaos, that probably means victory for the other runner. Or, you know, if Jupiter decides to go just lubricant strats, 1 HP. But we have another very close race here. Not even saving. Jupiter has the faith in this fight. With Final Sword, Deathstrobe, I can see why he thinks that. That said, if Jupiter dies here, he is going back before Julius. He needs to not take a death. No slime time? Probably not. I do not think we'll be seeing slime. Not with Final Sword here. Taking a hit, but just safety heals already. At half health, he's already healing, and phase 1 goes down for Jupiter as right as LuichoX is entering. We're seeing just how strong Final Sword is. Missed what he equipped? I did not see. That Lightning Doll damage on the top, using a Mana Prism just to break this top eye faster. Now hitting both the core and that bottom eye at the same time. However, the Final Sword can double hit, and he's not landing those double hits quite yet. We're seeing them on the core, 34 per hit with 2 eyes down. This could go very fast already. I know Jupiter says that when you have Final Sword, Manticoring the core, not a good strategy anymore. Because just the sheer damage that Final Sword outputs, 34 times 2, every couple of seconds, multiple times a second, insanely good fast damage. But taking hits, he does not have a lot of healing. Oh, but it's dead already! My god, that Chaos fight for Jupiter. What a fast fight. And LuichoX's not going to be that far behind, already hitting that double hit on core. He's getting that core damage at the same time while breaking his second eye. Probably even a faster fight than Jupiter, who was breaking 2 eyes at the same time. Such a close race here.
Hello.
Yo, LuichoX, welcome in. Your stream hadn't even finished. 40, what is that? 40-second difference between both runners. Huge GG's. Welcome Jupiter. Welcome LuichoX.
Hello, Barracks. Thank you again for doing commentary today.
Man,
Hello.
those seeds. just insane seeds. Insane play from both of you.
So I feel like, if I could, I'd like to start by talking about what just happened at the start of game number 2. Because I really kind of played myself. I took my standard route through corridor. I saw garden. And my heart sank. I was convinced that it was a LuichoX seed after all. So I went all the way back. Then it was nothing. I was amazed. I had to go all the way back through. But that was what was going on. I think if I was playing anyone except for LuichoX, I would have just stuck with the garden route. But I sort of second-guessed myself.
Mind games.
So LuichoX, you were kind of in my head there a little bit, game 2.
I did go through gardens because I expected Malphite to be in gardens because that happens more often than it should.
Plus LuichoX, you had already checked the left exit. You saw
Oh,
that
yeah.
was quarters, so it's like there's only one place to go and it's gardens here.
Yeah. Always check left door.
I feel like besides that blunder at the start, I was really happy with my play game 2. There was no duplicate blue book, was there? Was it just the one in cemetery?
Not that we saw.
Yeah, I found that one.
So unless it was in Galamoth, then there was just one copy. And you both found that at the same time, like 20 seconds apart.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard that we were pretty much tied game 1 at Julius. It sounds like game 2 was also super close.
Yeah, about half a Chaos phase apart, half a Gram phase.
Wow.
LuichoX was ahead, Exit and Gram, I believe. Or at least it was very close. But then you did the lubricant strats on Julius, which made that gap a lot larger. You know, from like 20 seconds to 40 seconds.
Well, I did the lubricant strats as long as I could. You'll probably notice that emergency heal midway through phase 1.
I saw you got the duck, but then the pause instinctively. I imagine you thought you would get hit when you unpaused.
Yeah, I was concerned, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Trying to think back to game 1 to think of any questions there were there, but I can't remember it after seeing the second seed, man.
I don't know, game 1 was the one with the bad weapons. And it was also really fast. We had all 3 books super early. At least I did.
Oh, yeah.
Did you not find the Ascalon, LuichoX?
I did find the Ascalon, but I didn't use it.
LuichoX was an Ascalon hater.
Yeah, I don't really like that weapon.
That's the one I used. That was the kind of difference maker, I think. I think it's the 4th best weapon. It is tough to use, though.
Like, I'm sure it's good, but yeah, I don't like using it. I was having fun with Balmong.
Chewy in chat asks to ask about your Legion, LuichoX.
Ah, no, I felt like it.
It looked like you were going for the Legion Soul, since you were not using your Rush Soul off the bat. You're just taking a long time to start using that.
No, I was just trying to make sure that when I used the Rush Soul, I didn't get hit a lot. So I just tried to lower its health, and then I used the Rush Soul.
Makes sense. It did time out well, since you did kill it with that Devil.
Yeah.
Man, what else? That was just insane races.
They
Both
were.
of you really showing how to play this game at the top level.
Yeah, they were really fast. I should save less, maybe then I can win.
Yeah, that's all I have. Either of you have any last comments?
Yes, that was fun.
Yeah, great games. Best of luck in losers. I have a feeling I might be seeing you in grand finals, LuichoX.
No, but Garni said he's gonna beat me though. What if he does though? He's
Grudge
playing nuts.
match?
We'll find out. I think he'll make it to loser final. I do believe it. He beat Berix.
Yeah. That was a good set. Garni's cracked.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be Garni against the winner of Saturn Spades and Lennox. And then the winner of that goes against Luicho to see who's up against Jupiter for grand finals, I believe.
Now,
Yeah.
Saturn, it should be noted, has been on an upset rampage. I think they've
Oh,
upset,
yeah.
like, what, 3 of the top 8 seeds already? As
Yeah.
the 17 seed? Yeah. So you
Yeah,
cannot
but-
rule out Saturn or
But now
Linus.
it's time for the revenge match for LuichoX and Saturn, as he called it. It's gonna be fun to watch too.
So, very hype matches coming up. Hype matches today. Stay tuned for more Aria and follow the runners. Links in chat. If you like the commentary, my link is there as well. Thank you both for these amazing races.
Yeah, he is.
And thanks to SpeedGaming for having us.